views and opinions expressed on this show are not necessarily those of the network or anyone affiliated. There will be mature and possibly immature content. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. As a matter of fact, I probably wouldn't listen at all. It's very poorly produced. Take me to your leader.
Yeah, all right.
Am I still on here, or is anyone else still on voice here?
I am.
I don't know. I clicked a couple of things looking at other stuff, and I kind of lost Discord for a few minutes.
All right. Welcome to the castle, everybody. Welcome to the castle. All right.
So we're just in Discord now,
Check.
right? You're not.
Yeah.
You're not broadcasting, are you?
Yeah, I couldn't hear if I got, like...
Yeah. What are you? Or are you not broadcasting?
Okay, well, we're trying something different. I gotta check the levels out here.
It sounds like you just came out of the dungeon.
Yeah, I was.
Oh.
How's it smell down there?
Checking on my pet Igor.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
asking about you.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that's me. I love the Oz.
Uh-huh. Come on. Where's my app? I can't find it. Oh, no.
There's an app to find your app. We just have to find that app, I'm sure.
Oh, boy. I can't seem to grab it and pull it up. There it is.
That's so
There we
wrong.
That's
go.
what she said.
Oh, no. That's not
You said that trouble before.
Oh, I've never had this trouble before, actually. This is different.
That's what he said.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, Jesus Christ. Try it this way.
Searching, searching,
Yep,
searching.
no. Yep, no, yep, no, yep. Got it. It's like fishing. It fell down.
What are you looking for?
It fell down underneath
Speaking
the
of fishing,
taskbar.
I took my son
Yeah.
fishing today. He caught his very first fish.
Oh, what kind of fish was it?
Awesome.
It was
How
just
old
a
is your
trout,
son?
little baby,
How old is your son?
little 8-inch keeper, but
Oh,
he
there's nothing wrong with
was
that.
so damn proud. Man, but trying to get that boy to hold that thing, I would have seen him run so fucking fast.
Nice. Did you
How
get a
old is your
picture?
son?
It's awesome. Oh, picture and video. As a proud mama.
All right.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Proud mama. Yeah. Nice. And what did you guys eat it?
No, he didn't want to eat it after it got thumped in the head.
Oh yeah. Oh really?
Yeah.
What's wrong with a bunk in the head?
Well, yeah, you gotta thump the fish after you catch it, so it's not like sitting there like floundering and kind of starving for air. So we thump it and then put it in the cooler and eat it later.
Mhm.
You grab by the tail, you smack it, and
Thump.
then it's it's the end of it. But that just kind of, I guess, did not suit well with him.
That kind of
He's
sounds
kind of
a
a
bit
little wuss
fishy.
about things.
Yeah.
That's, he grew up in California. I don't blame him. They're full of pussies there.
Well, fish lives matter too.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's like, what does a guy in Alaska do? He just punches him, man. He punches him.
Willie. Yeah.
Fish beater.
Yeah, man. It's hilarious.
They take like a billy club to those suckers. They're huge. The pikes up there in Alaska.
Yeah, man.
That's Alaska.
Whitetail
baseball.
pikes grow up to what? 12, 15 feet
They can
up in Alaska.
take your finger off, man. Those things.
You have to be a Neanderthal to live in Alaska. I mean, with those 15 feet fucking trout. I mean, it's ridiculous.
The white pikes, I mean, well, they're bottom feeders and they have no teeth, but still, I mean, they're huge.
Yeah. They are big and huge.
Yeah.
So are we going to do a show tonight,
Oh,
Wolfman?
we
You
are
wanna
on
introduce
live
the guest?
right now. We are on right now live. All right. Do you want me to introduce the guest?
I'd like
That would
that.
be proper.
Let's see if
I don't know anything about him.
Okay. All right. Well, he is. I found him on Twitter, and he's got a podcast of his own. He does Ouija boards, shamanistic magic, and he's into demonology and all kinds of dark paranormal things, which I really like. So they call him the Vayu Tiger.
Critters, creatures of the night.
Yeah. And come on out, Vayu Tiger. Welcome to Monster Castle.
Yeah, very glad to be here.
And,
What can we call you?
Yeah, you can just call me Vayu. I'm fine with that. Some people call me Tiger.
That's better, yeah. That's better. Clap, or I will electrocute you. Yeah.
Can I call you Tiger?
Yeah, call me Tiger. Go for it.
Cool.
I'll call you Tony.
Darren, call him Tigger.
That's great.
They can
Yeah,
call
Tony
you
the
Tiger,
Tiger.
and I'll call you Tony, all right?
Yeah, you can call me Tony, Vayu, Tiger, whatever, asshole. I'm at this point, I got so many pseudonyms. I mean, hell, I'm Simon too of the Necronomicon. So,
At the what The Necro Comic Con? What?
the
Necronomicon.
Necronomicon. I'm just joking. I'm not really Simon.
That's a reference.
Okay, I missed it. I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
You don't know what that is?
That's where
I don't.
That's a cult
like
classic.
Igor goes
How do
there.
you not know what that is?
Igor goes there to eat dead
I
people.
guess I haven't seen it.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna bring Igor out, and you're gonna be electrocuted just for that one. I'm gonna have to get
Yeah.
You're
Electrocuted.
fucked.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hear him. He's asleep, I
Oh,
think.
no, you don't really
Mike,
want to get
you
him
should
out right
change
now, do you?
Darren up to the wall for this cast.
I don't
That's
think he
his
deserves it
punch.
yet.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's almost an accurate description you put up. I wouldn't say it's more shamanistic magic, but I would say it falls more lines of Western ceremonial. And the roots
I
to
would
Western
put falls more
ceremonial.
under the demonology aspect.
How'd you get-
Okay, what's that?
How did you first get into that? How old were you?
Oh, actually, a while back I made a very long video about it. It's not up anymore, but it all started when I was just a teenager. There was this experience I had, me and my friends, we had this brilliant idea, parents weren't home and we're like, hey, let's play hide and seek in the dark, no lights
Sure.
on. And, well,
Great.
like I said, there were just three of us, and one of my friends, he got pushed down out of nowhere, and there was a wall behind him. And then there was another experience to where my friend got tapped on the shoulder, and I was on a totally different floor than both of them. So I just heard this thumping or running and everything. Then I went into the front room, and they were pretty shooken up. I guess the game was over then. I'm like, what's going on? And they're like, and then they started explaining to me their stories. And we was sitting on the love seat. I mean, we got rid of the couch at that point where I lived, but they were getting too close to me, and I was in the middle. They were clinging on to me like little girls. I'm like, guys, stop! You know. Then there was this shadow thing. It just started pounding on the front door. And we had the blinds open a little bit, and we could see the shadow, but no one's standing there.
I'm sorry. So, did it knock in like threes, or was it just a pound constant?
It was a pound.
Just one single thud.
It was like the pound was really loud.
But that was in the threes.
Yeah.
So was it
in threes,
in threes or?
The particular number I'm not sure about, but it was loud enough and enough times where it freaked my friends out.
Well, the reason why I'm asking is because generally when it's a destructive entity that wants to come in and cause mayhem and mischief, it'll pound in threes, knock in threes, close doors, open doors in threes, slam them shut. And that's a way that they tend to knock down the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. It's their way of knocking.
Yeah, I'm aware of the knocking, but I think it varies. But they ran to the back.
How long did it last for?
It just happened for just a few seconds. Then they said, "Screw this, we're gonna go to the back door." Then the entity was there at the back door and started pounding on the back door. Then
at least it's polite.
Are you sure it wasn't somebody trying to deliver like something to you, like pizza or something?
We could see through the blinders. You know how when you in certain blinds, how you can screw them to where you can kind of look between the holes or the spaces in between. Yeah.
And you saw nothing but a shadow, or?
Yeah. Nothing but a shadow. There was no person there. We ran to the back door, almost the same thing, and then, what happened was they said, you know what, if that thing is in front of us through the front door, and it's going to go after us, we'll let it take us, but it's not going to touch us. But they ran through that door and ran down the street and never talked to me again.
What?
Yeah.
Did they blame you for it?
I don't know. I mean, it happened when I was a teenager. I didn't really take it to heart. You know, I wasn't really a part of any cliques. I'm like, whatever. You know, it's kind of moved on.
Well, how did it affect you, though, mentally?
How did it affect me? It actually made me curious. I've always been sort of the adventurous type. It's part of the reason why I joined the Army. But like I said, it made me more curious. Rather than being scared, it's never been in my nature to get scared or get angry or even get upset at something at first hand. It takes me a little while to process that because I have Asperger's. So rather, I try to figure out why this happened, and what was it. Do you know what I mean?
More of a rationalist than anything. Try to rationalize what's around you.
You didn't really get scared, did you, because you have Asperger's?
No, actually, I to be honest, you can call it sadistic, but I kind of enjoyed it.
It was something different and new and exciting.
Yeah.
Can we have you explain to the audience real quick, just in case they don't know what that is? Can you detail what Asperger's is to them and give them kind of a brief rundown of the symptoms?
It has nothing to do with sticking hamburgers up your thing.
Well, there's two semantics to it with Asperger's. There's two different schools of thought. There's some.
Let's just
There's
go
some.
through the one that you have so they understand
Well,
where you're coming from.
well, there's a reason I have to point this out for sake of context. Some people believe that it's a form of autism. Some people think it's different than autism because the stems of the brain are a little bit different, with the way the electric functions. But either way, if we do call this a form of autism, it is just a different form of autism, and just like autism, there's different dynamics and different ranges of it. It's not like a black or white scale, but there's different symptoms of it. There you have high functioning autistic people, low functioning autistic people. Same thing with Asperger's. Asperger's affects people very differently. With me, I'm very organized, and with Asperger's, they normally have a very taste for obsession with stuff,
As
and
far as your emotional output and intake, how far do you think that your level of intake would be versus the output that you give? Is what we're looking for. We want to know where your sensitivities lie on that so that we know,
like
you know,
the information I put in,
besides your obsession of objects, we obviously know that your curiosity is at a high peak.
like
But
the
we want to
emotional
know what
aspect,
makes you open to all of this other intake of extra senses and sensory
And awesomeness.
observation.
we're talking about like emotionally. This is a very big thing. With how it affects me is a little bit different. I'm more of a high functioning one, of a high
Yeah.
functioning person with Asperger's, um, because a part of it is to where we mimic, like we have emotions, we can feel emotions, but we have a hard time expressing them. So,
So it's
uh,
a lot like being a sociopath, but with a different title.
you're not really a sociopath. The dynamics are very different. But like I said, we could feel those emotions. A sociopath wouldn't feel those, you
The
know.
Right.
skeletal structure of it is basically the same.
Yeah, but the older you get, the better it gets. Like a person who's autistic, or let's say with Asperger's, when they're 7, they have a tendency to have trouble in their teenage years, but it gets better, and they seem almost like a normally functioning person in their 20s on up. We get that from mimicking and imitating, to see how other people react and get used to that.
So, how does that positively affect your exploration of the paranormal here, or the ghosts?
Good question, Darren.
Well, it's because I don't walk in with an emotional ideology. While some
Right.
people would adhere to religion, or some people would cling to hermeticism, and some people would cling on to a belief in order to believe anything they read, or believe anything they hear, or take one experience that they had and determine that as a truth and make that as their basis. I don't see it that way. Just because one thing happens one time, I'm a rationalist to a degree. I have to test out something with a method. You know what I mean? Several.
Did you tell your parents what happened when you were 16?
Yeah.
That hide and seek thing?
Yeah.
Did they believe you?
Well, my mom has seen it. I think my stepfather was a little skeptical, but my mom has had experiences with it. But honestly, there hasn't been that many experiences with it in general in that home. So whatever was there wasn't there for very long.
Okay, I have to ask, are you professionally diagnosed with Asperger's, or is that just
Yeah.
something that you guys have put together to explain a lot of your symptoms?
I had a speech impediment when I was 7, and I have dyslexia because of it. So my brain is a big jumbled up mess. So I had to take speech therapy for 10 years of my life.
What were the effects? What Were you a stutterer or a stammerer or
Yeah,
something?
a stutterer, and for example, I'll accidentally say words backwards, or let's say I want to
Wow.
say cow. If I want to say cow, I'll say ox,
Huh.
and you, so it affects my speech. It affects the way I think. Um, it affects sometimes my entire communication. And even without going too deep, it can affect me on an emotional basis if I don't keep it in check. So I wasn't even aware of it until I was like 24. I knew something was off at that point after I got out of the army. And the doctor, because when I was a kid, when it came to Asperger's, when I was a kid, they didn't know much about Asperger's or autism. There wasn't much investment in it. Went to the doctor, uh, told him everything. He goes, "You have Asperger's," and it kind of filled in the gaps where I felt like I was feeling empty. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So it kind of gave me a lot of the answers that I needed, and to be honest, it was more of a blessing than a curse because I don't run on, you know, holier than thou, or you know, just take a blind belief. Uh, Presumably, I take a very structured method in trying to figure out everything. Myself, the world. I mean, I always said that I have a huge love for philosophy, such as Plato, Aristotle, Socrates, Iamblichus, Diogenes, Pliny the Elder, Pliny the Younger. All these philosophers back in antiquity, and and they really helped me out. Philosophy, especially Stoic philosophy, has helped me out in organizing my thoughts in that way.
What did you have
Okay,
another?
so-
Go ahead, Rachel.
Well, I was just gonna have him get back to his story now. That there's a little bit of background on who he is and how he's so susceptible to these sightings. That
How he
way,
organizes things in his mind.
Hey, I
Yeah.
would like to. Could you tell him how you got the name Vayu Tiger? Because it's a cool story behind that.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh yeah, hear that.
Yes, do tell.
Yeah. Well, that's a very interesting story because at the time I was undergoing Golden Dawn studies. I wasn't joining the order or anything. And then I started studying these other. This is where it all started. Started going through all these other cultures, such as Hinduism. I started learning to Greek. Started learning to read Greek. Started learning to read Latin, and I started to explore so many different things. And my study of the tattvas came out, and the tattvas are like the five elements, and you meditate on those. For example, you'll have the air of the fire of the earth, whatever the case may be, and you would meditate on those. And I said, why am I only learning an aspect of this when I could just go to a Hindi teacher? So I went to a Hindi teacher, or to a Hindu teacher, and kind of funny. I cracked a joke, and we don't know where it came from. He goes, "You really are the Vayu Viagra, aren't you?" I'm like, hey, that actually sticks. Vayu Viagra is very interesting. Vayu is wind or air, and it's one of the tattvas. And Viagra means tiger.
I
And the
thought that
most
was like
interesting-
for a pill you take for sex.
Yeah, and then I started to realize that. I'm like, oh shit, I was just gonna take my. I kind of like the name Vayu Viagra, but Viagra might throw a lot of people off. So I just went with
Or
tiger.
on and then off.
he does prescription ladies. So if you're open to that,
Yeah, that's how,
obviously, I don't know if
but,
he's single.
but it makes sense astrologically too, because astrologically, as a Libra, I'm the cardinal of the air sign, and I don't think he knew this, but also my Chinese sign is a wooden tiger. I know I'm conflating one study to another, but it's just an interesting observation.
That is an interesting observation how those two can coincide.
how do you find a Hindi teacher? Like, did you just go to your? Were you still in high school, or were you old after the
Well,
military?
this was all after the army, after I got out.
So how do you
How
find
old
a
are you?
Hindi teacher?
I'm 30 years old.
Okay.
Wow.
How did I find him? Well, honestly, I just did a Google search.
Oh, okay. I want to learn this
Thinking
stuff.
After Google.
Yeah, honestly, just did a Google search and found a meetup group, and I ran to this old guy, and he seemed pretty cool, and we started talking, and I told him my situation, how I was kind of looking more esoterically into things, and he knew I wasn't like a New Age hippie, or I wasn't like one of these people who's so serious that I pretty much lick my own asshole, that I was sincere about everything I did. And
I've never heard that term before. That's pretty
Lick your own
serious.
asshole, or-
I'm learning all sorts of things tonight.
yeah, but he gave me my start. He was one of those big influencers on me.
How old was he?
Oh God, he was 70 years old.
What was his name? Do you remember?
It's pretty cliche, but his name was Raj.
Raj.
Nice.
Yeah.
Special.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Was it
There.
Sheldon?
What did he teach you?
He taught me some of the Hindu prayers, some of the Hindu mantras, the art of meditation. He taught me a lot about the Hindu mythology and all that sort of stuff. Actually, one of my
Isn't that kind of a contradiction against everything the army and the military taught you?
This is the Monster Castle Paranormal Radio Show. We explore
Whoa.
the paranormal phenomenon with researchers and skeptics from all walks of life and beyond.
This is a good time for a
Fridays and
drop.
Saturdays, 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight
Hey,
Eastern.
thanks for the
Visit our
warning,
website at
ass boy.
monstercastleparanormal.com.
Are we at break time?
Well, that was pretty weird.
I like the drug box. I still think it should be acoustic, though.
Oh, yeah. There will be
Robert,
one.
Yeah.
did you learn anything in the military that made a difference for what you're into now?
Yeah. I learned a little bit of Arabic, and I found out how similar it was to Hebrew in a lot of ways, and how similar it was to these more classical languages. I forget a lot of my Arabic from the period, but it's
Why did you have to learn Arabic?
Because when you're speaking with the locals, it helps to know Arabic.
Okay. Where'd Rachel go? We lost Rachel. Adam is here, by the way, Robert. Did you notice?
Yeah, I saw that. What's up, Adam?
Ah. I'm listening and talking and whatnot.
Yeah.
And you?
I'd like to revisit a question that Rachel asked I didn't have a chance to get to.
Okay.
And,
that who's just on the air right now?
I learned in the military kind of contradictory
We can hear you, Dennis.
to the occult.
Is the
I was
Discord?
just asking if that was Rachel. That was just on the phone right now.
Ah, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
That's Dennis.
That's
This is
our
Dennis from the Fifth
that's
Dimension.
the Spreaker Underground chat. They're connected to us. It's a voice
Okay.
chat room.
All right,
you guys
I
have
gotta
any
flip
questions,
out because there's
join in.
delays and shit. I'm gonna see if I can reconnect.
You sound good.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Are you in Discord, Dennis?
I'm on Discord right now.
Oh, you sound great. Yeah, you're coming right through.
Mm-hmm.
If you have any questions, just chime up. Anyways, military. Oh, what were you going to answer about Rachel's question?
Yeah, she said, isn't what I learned in the military kind of contradictory to what I do in the occult? Yeah, to a great degree it is. I mean, but to be honest, I've always been somewhat of a troublemaker in the military, you know, but I made it through. So I never lost my gift
All right,
of
so
really
you didn't-
questioning things.
You
Right, so you weren't burned at the stake or nothing.
Yeah.
You weren't ridiculed or persecuted.
No,
yeah.
I kind of kept that quiet. You know what I mean? I wasn't as much into
Yeah.
it as I am now, but I kept a lot of it quiet.
No, I was listening to you earlier. Yeah. So,
Yeah, having
so what do you
Asperger's is-
do? Sorry, go ahead, Darren.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, so how do you? And I never was formally introduced to this gentleman that's on the line.
This is Tiger. He's into demonology, Ouija boards, and we're just about to get into why he's on the show. We're kind of going
Yeah, I
through
know.
his history.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
That's okay.
Apologies.
All
Yeah,
right.
I was asking for his name. That's all.
His real name's Robert, right?
Robert. Yes, Robert.
But I'm calling him Tiger tonight.
Yeah.
I'm going to call him Rocky.
What's up, Tiger? Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna
No.
call you
Yes,
Tony.
Eye of the Tiger.
Hey, Tony, how you doing, Tony?
That's right. You can call me Tiger too.
All right,
When did-
Tony the Tiger, right on.
That's
You
great.
got any cornflakes? Man.
Are you allowed to tell us what you did in the military?
Not really a lot of it, but I was a military policeman.
Okay. And you had to learn Arabic, so we'll put the pieces together, I guess.
Yeah, we're kind of we had to train the infantry mainly because at the time we were switching out from World War II warfare tactics, from Vietnam and North Korea and all that from open field battle. This is a time when urban warfare was starting to get really big. So it was primarily our job to train a lot of the jobs or MOSs for pretty much urban warfare because that's what MPs and special forces were trained for specifically. Because at the time, there were more foot soldiers. And then we had to transfer into more of a mobile army with a lot of vehicles and all of that. So we had to train a lot of people into that. I'm not saying it wasn't there already, but at the time, especially in early to mid 2000s, we needed it more than ever. And so, working in vehicles became a lot more common, even for the infantrymen.
Were you in special forces?
No, I wish I was.
Oh.
Did you have to learn any type of martial arts like kung fu?
I did take a course. Yeah, I did take a course in it. I'm not gonna lie, I got my ass beat pretty bad.
Yeah.
Out of it, but I'm a little guy, 5'5". I mean, so I wasn't too terribly bad though for my height.
That doesn't mean nothing. I've seen little guys take down giants, man.
As have I.
But he did not, Wolfman. But you did learn self-defense, I'm assuming, being in the MP.
We learned very basic self-defense and basic training, but then depending on your MOS, you can actually sign up for it in other places.
What's MOS?
It's pretty much your military job or your military skill.
Okay. So you get back from the military. When did you get into demonology and Ouija boards and all this other stuff?
I've always been somewhat into it. Yeah, not as deep. But after I got out of the military, you could say I was a little bit broken. I don't talk about it that often, but I was a little bit broken. Because it's kind of like I was thrown back into the regular world of civilians. Based on this structure that I had before. I knew my bills were going to be paid. I knew where my place was in this structure and all of this. And after I just got out, I had a place of depression in there. And then I started kind of revisiting some of my past, and my curiosities came back. And then I started...
Why do you think you got depressed? Was it because of what happened in the military, or just not having a goal, or what?
The depression came because it's kind of like, let's say you have all this structure. You're guaranteed all this security. You're guaranteed a place to stay. You have your friends who you fought with, who are your buddies.
Yeah.
And you have all these other people around you. It's a good support system. Then once you're out there as a civilian, it's kind of like that support system is gone.
Did anything weird ever happen to you?
In the military, you just don't find in the civilian world. Because in the civilian world, you're lucky to find loyalty. But even in the army, if you hate the guy next to you, or even in military service in general, you can absolutely hate some guy's guts. But at the end of the day, that you would put your life on the line for him. That takes a certain special loyalty or trust that you won't find in the civilian world.
So that's what brought on your depression, just not having the family of guys around you, the support system?
That was a big part of it. And plus, once you're thrown out there,
Why'd you quit the military?
Did anything strange happen while you were in the military?
That's a great question.
I got I had can't even speak, once again, Asperger's, but I had an honorable discharge, and it was pretty much something that happened to my legs, you know? So, pretty much, like I said, I can walk, I can function and everything, but,
Did you get injured in the field, or was it just something that happened?
No, it was after I got back.
Wolfman asked, did anything happen when you were in the military that was kind of paranormal?
I can't really say that there was, and if there was, I didn't even notice it, because when you're doing a job, you're just doing a job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Correct.
So no UFO sightings or anything? You never heard of any?
In the military, no.
Okay. So do you have your Ouija board with you tonight?
No, actually. Like I said, I don't necessarily do Ouija board. I know my friends do it.
Oh, we got to schedule a show for that. Get your friends and everyone over, That's what we were talking about this before. Some people that know how to use it and they're good at it, and it's responsive to them, and then people can phone in with questions and see what the board says.
Oh, jeez. You were into Ouija boards though, right?
I think they're interesting. I like other means of spirit communication though.
Can we first talk about the Ouija board though, just for fun?
Yeah, I'm open to that.
Can you tell us an experience you had on the Ouija board that was interesting?
Well, there was one experience I can recall, and it was at my friend's house.
Sorry, honey, I'm back.
Hey, that looks great. But I was pretty much in Illinois, up near Rockford.
Oh, yes, I missed you.
Ooh, my Igor.
But
I think Igor has a heart on.
I'm pretty sure.
Swing.
No, that's my hammer.
All right.
But I was
Illinois.
at a friend's house near Rockford, Illinois. And during that Ouija board experience, there was an old man that used to live there before my friend got there. And he died. He was a grumpy old man as far as we know. But we pretty much channeled him. I mean, I can't say that it was anything moved or any of that, but just based on our senses, the air got thick, the humidity picked up, and even then the temperature rose a little bit, and I definitely felt something there. I wouldn't say it was anything too drastic.
Did he answer any good questions? Did he give his name? Anything?
Yeah, he really didn't give a name, but he would let us know when. I think the only weird experience that came out of that was he would just let us know when he was unhappy. And we would know when there would be cigar smoke. Random cigar smoke smells.
Weird.
Yeah. And it always came from upstairs. And my friend never smoked cigars, so that's how you always kind of picked up when he was close.
Oh, Rachel had a question earlier about the Ouija board, and you were saying if you do it right, it's okay. But Rachel, do you want to ask that now that we're on the air?
Yeah, I'll sure ask it. Just because there's a lot of others out there that would agree with me on this aspect. Some people that have been a little more productive with something that doesn't provide such channels. I found the Ouija board to be more of a wide open channel, less controlling. You said you found ways to control those channels, but I've also had a lot of professionals that have that are in the paranormal field tell me that those channels are pretty much unpredictable. How and what ways have you found to control channels that others have seemed to lack control of?
Okay, that's a good question. I wouldn't venture to say that everyone adheres to this. Maybe it's working with different paradigms, and I'm not saying that they thought this or anything, but I'd like to draw on two things here. First of all, they come from an ideology. Do you know what I mean? And especially in the paranormal community, one information passes to another and another and another, and it's handed down. Does that make sense? So it's easy to and just take what you hear. And so I come from a very occult-driven background. What got me into the paranormal was a book called Ancient Greek Ghost Stories. And these are translated texts that were in ancient Greek, and it had documented ghost stories from ancient Greeks. So it
how old?
Roughly around 2,000 years old.
Oh wow!
So that's what kind of drew my interest. It wasn't ghost hunters or ghost adventures. So when it comes to the Ouija board, when I looked at that, I kind of applied my occult studies to this in a very methodical process. It's like, for example, I would summon one certain spirit because there are certain ways to attract certain spirits, depending on what you're doing, based on different offerings or based on different sigils or seals. If you have a sigil or a seal, a lot of times, or even a signature, it's kind of like a key. It's kind of like a microphone to that spirit. Does that make sense? So you do something very particular that's linked to that spirit. Some people call it a fetish link, which I always thought was an interesting term. But
Fetish?
Why would it be called a fetish link?
I have no clue where that came from.
Damn right.
or a voodoo thing, but I'm not always sure. But it's a direct link to that spirit, you know? Like, when you have an energy, it's like you have that symbol, and then you have the energy that symbol is linked to. Does that make sense?
You become the direct link to that spirit, but as far as the channel goes, it's wide open. Whatever else, wherever that spirit is currently, quote unquote, lurking.
The board is sort
whatever might be close enough or strong enough to attach itself to said entity. Wouldn't that leave the channel open to both of them?
Well, it all
and
depends.
how do you know? How do you predict? How are you able to stop a second entity from entering at the same time?
Well, I normally do a 2,000-year-old circle casting where I used ancient Greek vowels. Plus, I surround it with a salt circle and the Ouroboros. The Ouroboros was the earliest circle casting.
What's a circle casting?
Circle casting is a way of protection. And
around the whole board?
Yeah. What you'll do is you'll put the table around a circle. Salt has always been very conducive to protection against spirits. We see this in Roman times.
It's more of a shield from my understanding, though. It's more to protect a object or person, not necessarily as a control. But it's more of a shield. It's more of a
protection,
personal protection.
To protect
So
the
it's still
spirits from me.
It's still not closing the channel enough, is what I'm asking. I want to know what you would do to close that channel.
Or how do you prevent
you just have to get specific. It's kind of like if I type in A on my keyboard, then the A is going to come up. Do you know what I mean? Rather than pressing a P. I know if I press P,
What if I took that key and removed it and put the L over where the A spot is? Does that still do the same thing?
Yeah,
because I've done that before.
But if you have a direct link, though, it's normally instant results. If you have a direct link, because it's something that's so intimately tied to that particular spirit.
How do you get a direct link if you don't know who you're going for, or do you do it when you know?
Who you're going for, I think it's a bad idea to sort of even get involved with it.
So you did when you did the Ouija board in the house, you knew you're going for the old guy with the cigar?
Yeah.
Okay. I gotcha.
Yeah, so you have to go in there with intention. Does that make sense? You're not going saying, hey guys, we're going to treat this like a game. You know, you go in there, you know what you want, you know what you want to ask, and you just do it. So you walk in there with that intention, and that makes a big difference.
Did you have any animals in the house when you were using the Ouija board? And did they show any kind of reflection based off of the experiences coming through, the entities coming through?
My friend did have a Rottweiler mix. I forget what the other one was, what the other half of the breed was, but it was pretty much a mutt. But
sorry, Mike's sound effects for.
It's okay. This Rottweiler, she got really close to And whenever we had those sessions, she always stood really close to my friend. I mean, we didn't use the processes that I use now. I just kind of took her direction with it. But to be fair, I have very limited experience with the Ouija board. But her animal didn't quite react so bad. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, that dog really didn't give a fuck about a lot. You know, as long as it was around her, really.
Okay.
So it was a clingy dog.
Is that enough about the Ouija board?
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about how you connect?
Yeah.
Other than
what else I can add, honestly.
Okay. So how else do you connect besides the Ouija board? What have you found?
Oh, I've connected specifically through this method that I've been reading about. There's 20 plus rituals on it, but it's through an oil lamp. Now, before we have electricity, electric is a very, very modern convenience we have, and we always forget this. But before electric, all we had was oil lamps, and oil lamps have been around since around 5000 BCE, and so that's been my most recent method. What you pretty much do is you put olive oil in there, you put a cotton wick in there, and you burn it, and it could burn for a good number of hours. And so that's one method. Then you would use that. That was only light people had at night, so people would scry into that off the flame. Would scry into the mirror off the flame.
What's scry mean?
Kids don't try this at home.
Scrying is where you look at something, and then you see images, or you interpret those images which come up.
So did you get yourself an oil lamp and start doing this?
Yeah, actually, I have a replica of a Herodian age oil lamp. I did see an ancient Greek oil lamp that they wanted $85 for. It was roughly around 1900 years old. I was getting it, but yeah, I got myself a Herodian age oil lamp replica.
Herodian, is that what you said? What is that?
Herodian age.
When is that? I don't know that word.
That was around the time of Christ.
Herodotus.
And it was. Yeah, it was Herod who pretty much killed all those babies. But we found these replica oil lamps from that period.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
I used.
How old were you when you first did the oil lamp meditation?
I've been using oil lamps and scrying mirrors for a while now. Now, the oil lamps are fairly new. I prefer the black mirror aspect to it, though. Because black mirror and hydromancy or divination with water are two of the main methods I've used a lot more.
Okay, I don't know any of these things. So
yeah,
what is a black mirror and what was the water?
Oh my
what was
lord!
That? Sorry,
black
I don't know
mirrors
these.
Are cool.
Darren, you need to do your research before you come on the show. Or I'm gonna send you down to Igor, and he's gonna whiplash you.
Maybe I should just hang up and.
And then I'll make Igor give you the.
I don't know all this stuff.
These are very, very earnest questions. Actually, I'm glad he's asking. In his own.
It's good questions because some people just don't know, eh? So yeah. But if he keeps it up, we'll, even just for fun, have
you could
Igor
drag me down to the dungeon. It's okay. Put me on
take you to the dungeon.
I'd take you to the dungeon, but I think
you put me in the dungeon of the
I don't know if you're Igor's type.
What is a black mirror?
Okay, it's pretty much like your regular mirror, but instead of a silver back, you have a black board to it. Instead of being silver, it's black. So,
and it gives like a gray and white reflection, or I don't understand what he's saying.
Well, with the regular mirror, you have it's a silver background. And that's why you can see yourself, because it's silver. Now, but the interesting thing is, once it's kind of like a glass from a picture frame. If you paint the back of that glass black and you do it right, then it's going to have a totally different feel to it. It's going to darken up everything. And this was popularized by Dr. John Dee. He was at the time, the scientist, or Queen Elizabeth's magician. He actually coined the term the British Empire. And what's great about John Dee was he was actually running from the Pope and the Catholic Church.
Take a break here at the bottom of the hour, and shout out to BWC for life in the chat room, and to Les. Haven't seen you for a while, buddy. We'll be back shortly, folks. And follow Monster Castle Paranormal and Dirty Mountain Taro. Wolfman Mike 47 on Spreaker and Skype for calls, and in Twitter as well. And join us in the hashtag 47Talk for live interaction in Twitter. Alright, yeah. Make a call to the station at Wolfman Mike 47 on Skype, 775-990-8447 in the United States, and 226-271-3466 in Canada. Thank you, and shut up, Melvin Spacely. Trying to do a commercial here. Alright, yeah. Fantastic. You have nowhere else to vent your torment. It's quite clear when you're in the atmosphere, where aliens appear, there's a sphere. Tower Earth, and it's a strange place. Do we really know if anything is real? It's a nice ball and it's out in outer space. It's a nice place. It's a weird, weird place. Flat head. Scientists will take a bet. It makes no common sense. Flat Earth head. Everybody laughs at you. Oh, yeah. Groovy, man, groovy.
All right, he was talking about influences. Dr. John P., was it?
Yeah, Dr. John Dee, he really didn't use a black mirror, but he used an obsidian mirror. And actually, he created his own language. Edward Kelly would scry, and Dr. John Dee, he would take the things that were being channeled through you could, if you want to call it an angel, through the angel, and he created an entire language that has no relation to Latin or Greek or these other languages that he knew. So he was running from the Catholic Church, and at this time, alchemy was still fairly big. So This is when alchemists would claim that they could make alchemical gold. So they were collecting esoteric knowledge and pretty much running from the church at this period. But yeah, and Dr. John Dee, he was very, very famous. He was a brilliant mathematician. He was a brilliant scientist, and this is also a period where science and, you could say, magic were one and the same. So,
what years?
Oh, this was back during the 1600s or 1500s.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you just get a hold of some of his books and start studying them, or what?
I actually ran into him through a documentary through the introduction of the Golden Dawn. The Golden Dawn, Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, I should say, during the late 19th century formed in 1888. And then they recreated the Enochian system in their own way. And what's interesting about this is, yeah, it is fragmented, but there's the different Enochian keys, and so on and so forth. And I found out who he was through these Enochian keys, and that's pretty much how I figured it out. And then one thing just led to another. You know, I fell down the rabbit hole of what came from where, if that makes sense.
Sorry, I dropped that for a second.
Yeah, hey, did you did you find anything out about monatomic gold from any of these people?
About what?
Monatomic gold, the philosopher's stone that the alchemists were always trying to make.
I know in Hermeticism and through alchemy, there were two different forms of alchemy at the time. What I can say is this about the Philosopher's Stone. The Philosopher's Stone was at one time seen as a spiritual or esoteric thing. Then there was this other aspect to where the Philosopher's Stone was actually lab work. Like, they believe they can actually create gold. But the original Philosopher's Stone actually goes back to antiquity, and that was the Ouroboros. Plato wrote about it. And it was a snake which consumed its tail. The head was destructive, while the tail represented life. And it was that incarnation of life, death, and rebirth, or that sort of symbolism of a train.
It's the wind job of life.
But it was pretty much the self-sustaining universe.
Who's dropping that? I didn't do that.
It's a real train.
Oh, and he just happened to see train. He happened to say train at the same time as there's a train in the background. Are you kidding me?
Do you get cheap rent
needs
with
to come
that?
back in because we found his train.
Well, I think the conductor is going to do a hit job on me one of these days. I think he's just going to
Why
drag.
did he do that?
I mean, I could see him giving me the evil eye right now, half a block down.
Flipping
All
you
right.
the bird, half block down. For what? What'd you do to him?
I don't do
Who?
anything. I'm an angel.
Oh, bullshit. I call bullshit
Fools
on
do
that
shit.
one. Oh, touche, salesman.
Bullshit.
But yeah, that's the whole general thing of this damn train and Dr. John Dee. But you should really research him. He's a fascinating character.
Dr.
Yeah.
John. I will
Okay.
have to do that sometime in the near future.
Can we get back to the black mirrors and
Yeah.
water?
You seem so interested in this. For an atheist, you seem extremely interested in this, Darren. Why is that?
Black magic.
Who told you I was an atheist?
Oh, I thought you said that on one of the other podcasts. My bad. Okay. Misinformed. He's not an atheist.
How dare you assume his religious views?
That's okay. You can call me an atheist, but I don't think I am. I don't know.
Oh,
I am Mr. the man with 1,000 questions. I don't really have any answers ever. It's sad. No convictions.
Well,
But
pretty
yeah,
much
hey,
to answer your question about black mirrors, oil lamps, and all of this, anything with a smooth surface that's reflective can be seen to scry through. And this is the main method I actually personally like to use when it comes to spirit work.
Can you get into specifics
about
exactly what you would do?
And what did you see?
What happened?
I want to know what he's seen. What was some of his experiences, actually?
Well,
yeah,
that too.
I'll go through the method and the experiences.
Okay.
Okay, as for the methods, what I like to do is I know these very long, antiquated prayers and stuff. And the thing is, when you're doing this, the first thing you have to do is control the oxygen going to your brain. I'm not saying hold your breath, but what you're doing is the first key to meditation or any form of experience is to control the oxygen flow. For example, in the Bible they call it the breath of life. It's because
so like Lamar's class.
Yeah. The thing is with the breath of life, they found out that the breath is connected to life because once something dies, it stops breathing. But this made them ancient peoples further experiment, saying, okay, what happens if I controlled my breath? When they get angry, they say breathe in and breathe out very slowly. It's because this lowers your oxygen level to your brain. And this puts it in kind of a state of, I don't want to say bliss, but it makes you slow down a little bit. So once you can apply this to meditation, or once you...
So such slowing the blood flow and creating a release of serotonin, just kind of happy chemicals is what it's doing when you slow the oxygen.
Yeah,
endorphins?
Yeah, that's generally the first thing.
Endorphins.
Yeah. So, for example, you can use Domnominus or Akramakare or...
What are those?
Whoa. Oh, yeah. You're back on those words.
Huh?
Dipshit here doesn't know what those mean.
Well, my witch fellow has no idea what that means.
Oh, these are just all ancient Greek words, really, that are used in ancient magic. For example, Ablanathalba is a word used associated with the deity Abraxas. And what you would do is...
Oh, Braxis.
Yeah. And what you would do is you would build a triangle and you would say each word, because words represented power. Words were knowledge. Like most deities associated with words were gods of magic. You have Thoth, you have Odin, you have Mercury, and so on and so forth. Most deities of language, which started from the Phoenicians spreading their language, which gave the Jews and the Greeks their language. That's why you have Aleph and Alpha, and all the letters are almost the same. But they realized words were magic because you can say them, and you can turn these into mantras. But they also saw how organized written words can build trade and build economies and build civilizations, and build architecture. So, and that's just a whole nother field. But what you do is...
What's your favorite mantra?
Personally, I've been getting into the PGM sort of stuff, and I've been sort of creating my own out of that. Primarily the ones that I just showed you guys just now. Akramakari.
Can you
spell that?
Can you speak them? Can you give us a little...
You know that right, like? I can do that.
Yeah, well, what you would do is, we call this vibrating the words. So it's AKRAMMACHARIE.
That's moving.
Yeah.
So is it saying that over and over?
Well, you can turn anything into a mantra. Anything. So for example, let's say I want to vibrate And I use vibrations. Vibration.
I like these words he's using. I'm just going to say that.
Rachel likes vibrations also.
Yeah,
I can turn Rachel into a mantra.
Well, I'll put those words in the chat for her, and she can.
Dennis, you should voice that out. What you just put in the chat room.
Finding the words in my head right now. I'll Google them later, and I'm sure they won't mean the same thing. That's not till morning. Let's not worry about that.
I'm sorry.
What I would do is I would vibrate. And I'll vibrate that. And when I vibrate that, within the first, if you try that yourself in your personal life, within the first 3 or 4 seconds, you're going to feel a change happening. You're going to feel different within.
Do you ever use the word hue when you meditate? I've heard people doing this. Then that's where the word human comes from, and it's a meditation. To just hue by meditating, hue like that.
I haven't heard of that.
No, it's interesting.
Yeah, people have all sorts of ways of doing it, but there are so many ways you could do this. Though you can actually do the entire golden ratio based on the seconds, like 3.14, blah 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 blah. Like you breathe in for 1 second and you breathe out for
3.14. That sounds familiar. Isn't that the equation for pi?
Yeah. Pi is the golden ratio, and you can do different breathing techniques. There are some awesome Shaolin monk breathing techniques I haven't even attempted. Too scared to right now because my breathing is.
What's the spiral ratio?
It's the golden ratio, the spiral ratio, or the ratio.
That's the gold. Yeah, that's the golden ratio, isn't it?
Yeah, and what's cool is that all life is based on it. If you was to get a man, and he was to spread his legs shoulder length, and you would have put your arms out, it applies to that. It applies to.
Rachel, you hear this?
Yeah,
I heard it.
Okay, what have you found, Robert? What have you found? Tell us what you have found in your meditation, and let's get into it.
Yeah.
The dark side of it.
Tell us the secrets of life.
I'll give you the secrets of the universe.
And the dark parts, the really dark parts.
Let's get into it. We've been piddle-footing around it all night.
Okay, well, first of all, God spoke to me, and he told me to blow up the world. You know?
Wait, whoa.
I'm kidding.
You didn't... Okay. I was going to say, you an eternal locution or something?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Actually...
You had Darren picking up another phone for 911 there in a minute.
The best thing I could say is there's this word called gnosis, and it's another word for knowledge or knowing. And this is where we get the word for knowledge, is gnosis in Greek. And you get this self-knowledge, I guess. I mean, I could tell you my reality of it.
That's what I'd like to know. Specifics.
Yeah. Well, it's more of an introspection. I don't know if you've read anything about Pythagoras outside of mathematics, but it kind of brought me back to more of monotheism to some extent, but very loose monotheism. Because everything has a singular point, like a cell. You get one cell turns into two turns into three. And Pythagoras was one of the first to break down the dynamics of a singularity expanding into plurality, from the monad, dyad, triad, and so on and so forth to the decad. And
so what's all this mean specifically for you and for us?
For me, it's manifestation. it's manifestation. It's about knowing what you. With me personally, taking this knowledge, especially with the monad, dyad, and triad, and all this, and it's this concept of manifestation, realizing what we can do to manifest.
To manifest things in our lives, or
in our lives, yes, exactly.
Okay.
Or even change other people's lives. And the thing is, it's kind of like Masonry, and in Freemasonry, they have this thing.
Okay.
To where the Freemasons have this quote. It says, "We can give you the ritual, but the experience you take out of that is your own." And sometimes it's indescribable. For example, I've come to these realizations, a lot of them which Pythagoras have reached. For example, the power of vibration. Iamblichus wrote about Pythagoras that at one point, Pythagoras was walking past a brazier pounding on brass. And it made him wonder, why did these different brass sounds make different sounds? So he created this whole system in his house. He even started playing the lyre, and he created music therapy out of that. He realized how music affected him. So there's little things I notice about myself in the same regard. What music gets me going? What music makes me sad? What music makes me feel this way? Or what music do I want to listen to before I go out running? Or we can say something on a much broader scale with my career. What can I do to improve my career? Am I happy with my career? Or it's kind of this constant self-improvement process. Does that make sense? That's what it brings to me. It doesn't.
It makes sense, but
yeah,
I'm curious. How long does it take to do this, and what specific things have you done in your meditation or candle staring or whatever to make your life better?
Well,
I tried that once and I burned off my eyebrows.
I definitely don't need to take my PTSD meds anymore. That's the biggest thing I would say. I had a really rough time with that, and after sort of working through all of this, I don't need to take my PTSD meds anymore. I don't have any spells like I used to.
Well, that explains everything.
But that's the biggest thing it's done is with dealing with that, especially it's helped out with my Asperger's a lot because it helps me deal with those emotions, that seem to be an emotional overload that sometimes hit me real late. Then a lot of that subconscious training stuff that I do in meditation, it's trained my mind even without meditation to sort of go to my backup, go back to what I've learned, like a computer. It's automatic. Do you know what I mean? It's made me more moderated.
So you would suggest this for us, correct?
I think it's beneficial for anybody, really. I mean, do as thou wilt. I mean, but
I would really have to disagree on that. I mean, it really depends on your mind frame and how far into PTSD you have, or even if you have a right tense of mind frame to manage such a life.
Yeah, and the thing is, you have to make the want that change, and that's the biggest part to this is, you're not just going to sit down magically one day, and this is where philosophy is kicked in for me. You're not going to sit down one day and let's say you want to lose weight. You can't diet for a day, then lose 50 pounds. It's all about habit. And this is what Plato and Aristotle taught me, is everything is a matter of habit. What are your habits? What habits are conducive to what you want to do? What habits are hurting you? What habits can you improve? What habits are helping you? And this is another big thing that Pythagoras taught. So what I'll do is I'll habitually work with. I've done a lot of this so much habitually that it's just kind of instilled in me, and it kind of keeps me moderated. You know, whatever.
All right.
I'm not saying it's like it'll cure cancer, but what I will say is it does keep a good balance in me.
No,
what's
it's a frame
the
of
greatest
mind,
experience
and it becomes
you've
a lifestyle.
had? Oh, go ahead. Who is that?
What was the greatest experience? What?
Oh, by the way, we got Dennis on here too, and Adam. So if you guys want to ask a question, go ahead. Eh?
Yeah.
Wait, Adam's on here too?
Yeah.
Nope, I'm not here.
Oh, there you are.
That's Adam. Do you have any questions, Adam? Link in the Discord in case you have questions.
Oh, I haven't been in Discord yet.
No, I meant Wolfman. Bring Dennis back in from the Discord if you can.
Actually, no, he's on the other Skype line right now. I don't know why he's not saying anything.
No, I'm here, man.
He's been saying almost everything.
Dennis, do you have any questions for Tiger?
I'm here. You can't hear me?
Cling to the rope and hang on to the
we can hear you.
conversation as tight as I can.
No, go ahead, Dennis, if you got a question.
Yeah, no, it's like a fucking 30-second overlay or something. Fuck.
30-second overlay?
What do you mean,
Dennis?
Once you start talking, it should go away.
All right. Hi, Rachel and gentlemen that I'm speaking with. And thank you.
Hello.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for taking my call. And I'd like to ask the people in the room this question, because they hear this all the time. And it's about, okay, we're not going to go into ascension and higher vibrational beings and DNA shifting and reorganization on that shit.
Do you have a question for the guest in general, or is this just going to be a random question that the guest is going to have?
It's okay. Go ahead, Dennis.
Just what do you feel as though the purpose of your life is?
Give it to us.
Go ahead. What do you feel as though that your purpose of your life is?
Is that geared towards Robert, our guest?
Everyone listening.
Let's let Robert answer first.
Oh, everybody. That includes everybody in the room.
Correct.
Life, I think we create our purpose. I mean, one could say that it's almost nihilistic to say that our lives don't matter, but the thing is, I mean, I don't believe in destiny. I think that we kind of create our purpose through experiences as we go along. It's real simple.
So what's the end result? Like, what's the purpose of your decisions and choices? Like what's the end result?
For someone who claims they have to have so much control over their lives with Asperger's, and you don't claim to have your own destiny set.
Yeah, that was for Robert. Rachel,
Robert, what's your destiny? What's your plan?
I don't have destiny. But I do believe that once again we create our purposes. With me, my whole thing is pretty much working on manifesting and also helping other people through their struggles as well. Writing, because I've been working on my college degree, and I do plan on writing a book right now. So I do have 2 books out. So I'm
Oh man, it's time for a commercial. Damn it! Gotta listen to this damn commercial again.
I want to fucking go through the panel and just ask questions, man.
Okay, but I can't help it. It's bottom of the hour, top of the hour. There's always going to be a break, and then you come back and you're first up.
Break time, guys.
And I said to myself, "There's got to be some truth to what these guys are saying. It's got to be." And so it was at that time I started really replaying and listening to myself in the car, wherever I was. And I thought, I'm a pompous bitch.
Go to Trolls Are Us today and take care of your problems in our snarky fashion. That's trollsrus.com.
Yeehaw! Trolls Are Us!
Yeah! Can you dig it? Fantastic! It's your invitation to avoid the nauseation, frustration, desolation, mutilation, degradation. We like to rock, and this is a donation station. Yeah, baby! Go to monstercastleparanormal.com and donate today. Keep us rocking, man! And we're back, all right, yeah. Can you dig it? All right.
Dennis, you're up.
Digging at 6 feet, baby.
No, I was just asking a question in regards to what the purpose of life is, like how we live um, our lives within this 3D, and how we interact and exchange, as being humans. And I was just asking Rachel that question. That's all.
Like I said, I don't go looking for a purpose, but my purpose as of right now, immediate needs, family, and currently whatever's in front of me. But if there happens to be another purpose dropped in somewhere in between, such as friends or other extraordinary events, then you go in that direction until it ends. But I don't think you have a general purpose, a general default line to follow.
So you're not really like a part of human consciousness. Like you're not a part of that whole oneness of the all that is. You are, but
I'm a control freak to a certain degree, but I understand there are things you cannot control.
Right,
that
so
your
you're
life
more
is
focused
not set
within the
in one
3D.
general direction for the whole time.
Right. So that's hard.
Yeah,
Because you have a lot of
it is hard
distractions.
because there's no prediction to it, which is what makes it life, which is what spices it up, which is what is life to me.
Well, isn't it good to be somewhat precognitive, where that you can see things before they happen, and you can, this is where reality creation comes in, where that you can avoid fucking shit right before it happens.
It's not my pathways that I look into or that I feel.
What do you mean?
It's never my pathways.
What do you mean? What's not your pathway?
To understand that the pathways that are given to me are not my own, and I refuse to open myself to my own.
Yeah, but isn't part of life, learning from past experience, so where that it's not repeated, and where that even though that you're not asking for change, because the universe will bring it on you.
Who says it's
either
not?
wise you make change, but how you work through it. Sorry,
and yet they tend to repeat themselves. Who says it's not repetitive? It's always repetitive. In some form or fashion.
Okay.
I have a question from Eric.
Why else would they call it a circle of life? It's always repetitive.
Sorry, there's a question from Eric?
There is.
There is.
It's for Tiger. You there?
Well, there you go. Then I mute. All right. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you.
Hey,
Don't
what's up,
go anywhere,
That
Dennis.
was a good question.
All right.
Thanks, Dennis.
He wants to know about Lucifer and Satan and what he thinks about their influence on occultism.
Very good question, actually. Depends on your paradigm you're coming from. I don't come from a Christian paradigm or a satanic paradigm or a Luciferian paradigm. Personally, I think that they are two separate entities. And because one is Hashatan and the other is Lucifer. Lucifer is Latin for bringer of light, and he had a brother named Noctifer, which was bringer of darkness back in Roman times. But I think they've evolved from very literal terms or very literal entities into more or less, kind of a psychological thing over a good number of years. For example, with the rise of Church of Satan, like I said, they're a pretty interesting organization. They really used Satan as a character to embody something that goes against the modern norm of Christianity back in the 60s. As a matter of fact, I went to a library down in Houston, and they placed the Satanic Bible in the psychology section. And if you read it, actually it reads much like a modern book. And they're they're reading, except for they throw in words like Satan, Lucifer, Leviathan, and all these other words to signify I can do what I want. You know what I mean? I'm independent, and I don't need an overriding church. Once again, that theme. You know, do as you want as long as you're not hurting anybody, pretty much. But when it comes to Lucifer, it almost sort of embodied the same term in the 70s with the rise of Luciferianism. And once again, a very psychological view, but I would say more of an esoteric view. While the Church of Satan, they were a lot more mundane, I would say, more, you could say animalistic, if you will, because they believe that humans are animals. They really didn't aspire to ascension. That wasn't their goal, but most Luciferians, they aspire to ascension. Now, don't get me wrong. You do have, you would say, people still today who literally believe in these entities, theistically. But they've, as a literal being, I really can't, it's just not my thing to say that they're real or any of that. But what I will say is this, that they have been positive symbols, I think, to sort of trigger people, to make them think, to think for themselves. Does that make sense?
I think so.
Yeah.
What?
I
What do you
didn't
think,
think
Dennis?
that. I didn't think that Rastafarians believed in demons though and stuff.
Who?
Didn't he say Rastafarians?
Luciferians. Some of them do. I mean, it's more like an occult branch. It's closer to occultism, I think.
Have you ever studied any voodoo? No. Sandra says no. She never done voodoo.
Ooh, voodoo. What do you think of voodoo?
Voodoo's cool.
Well, I actually think it's a very interesting practice. I've been thinking about sort of venturing into it myself. You know, just sort of with baby steps, though. I think it's very interesting. Something I haven't ever really tried to work with yet. I don't know what to think about it, but I think it's interesting.
I'd be very careful if you're thinking about even thinking going there. Be very careful of what you're walking into. Just like Ouija
oh
boards.
Yeah, of course. I learned that from 2,000-year-old ceremonial Greek magic and Egyptian magic. So I completely understand where it's coming from. That's why I said just baby steps. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Baby steps towards what?
Towards understanding the entire system. There's one thing I've learned, and that is before you go into something, make sure you completely understand the system. It's kind of like when you walk into work, you don't go in depending on your job. If you're a banker, you don't go in acting like a thug off the streets. You know, there's a time and a place for everything. You have to know the system to work with.
It's all about respect and everything, man.
Yeah. So to try to understand a system, you have to ask different varying questions of who, what, why, where, when, and how. Those are always the key things you have to remember. And then once
I just want to say that the mob was like some of the best banks I've ever been to. They're really good at banking.
Oh yeah, yes they are.
Tiger.
Yeah.
I have a question from the chat room. What do you think of remote viewing?
Oh, very interesting.
That's easy.
This is kind of into a gray area because you have people who really, really suck at it. You have people who are really, really good at it. There was this guy called Dr. Ed Dades, and he used to teach remote viewing to the government, which was interesting. One of his students, Ed Dames,
so exposed.
One of his students actually was hired to help companies find oil. Now one of his students is very, very rich from it. And I think that there's different schools of it. some people are really good at it. Some people are really, really bad at it. Some schools are pretty good. Some schools are not so good. But as time goes, things have a tendency to get washed up and even dumbed down to where they're
Have
not
you done it?
anymore. I've done it once or twice. The first experiment was through one of his courses, and what you have to do is it's about a 45-minute process, really. What you do is you sort of let yourself go. You initially just make a quick scribble, to sort of, that's the signature, and you start just letting yourself grow and drawing these shapes, right? Then these shapes into subconscious mind represent something, and the guy in the video, he was holding up an envelope, and I got like something cold, metallic, just natural things, very vague words, and then you start interpreting the signs, and it's interesting because he brought out a picture of a snowy Russian base, military base, out of the video. So
okay.
I really didn't get as close. I've only done it twice, but I would say it's just too time consuming for my schedule to do. But I think it's very accurate to some degree. Once again, depending on person and the system.
What do you talk about on your show?
Oh, Shadows in the Dark podcast. Two wonderful hosts, Sam and Ignis, very wonderful people. We pretty much cover everything from basic occultism. We like to cover spirits for some reason, and our audience loves it. We even have talks about hypnosis, and we also talk about different varying traditions. Another thing that comes up, partially because of our guests, is the Necronomicon. Not just the Simon version, but actual systems that came from H.P. Lovecraft. And so Cthulhu gets brought up on the occasion, as in Azog-Thoth and all of that. So, sorry if I butchered that name, Sam. I apologize. But, we talk about all sorts of stuff on there, and sometimes we'll get the craziest guest on there. We had Omni Michael on there. There's this guy named Lord Stephen Christ, and he, as an example, and oh my God. Okay, but
tell us.
Stephen.
It's okay.
Stephen has this ongoing joke where he pretends to be the prophet of Lord Stephen Christ, and he is a trip. I don't want to go too deep into it. It's the wildest podcast we ever had. He was talking about looking down in the toilet and scrying in poop, and how it turned into.
My
God. This might be too much information.
How did it smell?
Yeah, that's one of our crazier episodes. But we also get a few people who practice things like, Afro-Caribbean magic, such as hoodoo, voodoo, or maybe some island Caribbean magic on there as well, such as transferring spirits, different stuff like that. So we talk about all sorts of stuff. As a matter of fact, we have a really awesome book reviewer coming on, and he's most known for reviewing Stephen King books. So I would say we get all sorts of topics and all sorts of people on, but they're normally into some sort of esoteric or occult thing.
So he said you were into demonology.
Yes.
Can you talk about that? What?
Yeah.
How do you get into demonology? And
that's just a natural part of the occult. Most demonology texts come from two sources: Roman Catholics or occult grimoires. So it's natural we're going to fall into it.
Wait, did you just say Roman Catholic?
Yeah, Roman Catholic
from Mars?
No, Roman Catholic texts. Yeah. So.
Okay, Robert. When you mentioned demonology, right?
Huh?
I have to ask you a question. Okay, I have to ask you a question. So when there's demons, basically that's negative energy.
No. This is a misconception that I'm finding, but this is brought in through a modern paradigm. The thing is, we have an agathodaimon, and then we have an uodaimon. Now, one translates to good spirit, one translates to bad spirit. And even in the Goetia of the Lesser King Solomon, I mean, it says that some spirits are good or some spirits are bad. Even then, I think this is a false notion, because we have a tendency to label things we're scared of, or things we find unknown, saying, well, this has to be bad. I mean, for example, when there's this big change that occurs in society, such as the industrial age, it's either highly glorified or it's highly hated. So the thing is, when we have these unknown things, how do we classify them? Do we classify them as good, classify them as bad? But in hypnosis and in psychology, you learn something. You learn that even though we have bad habits, we fall into this thing to where even if we're comfortable with bad habits, we perceive that as something good because it's in our comfort zone. But let's say we need to break that bad habit and we need to get out of our comfort zone. This is actually a bad thing to us, even though it's good for us. So, for example, if we're in a Christian society and they say demons are bad and they regurgitate that for 1,600 years, naturally society is going to be programmed to believe that. But when we look at the prior text to daimons, but when we look at the very prior texts, we see that some of them were useful, some of them were helpers. Not all of them were deceptive, but they were actually closer to people.
Sorry, I apologize, Robert. It's just isn't demons a construct that Catholics invented per se? That's really they put the label onto like bad things, like bad people, bad stuff.
Well, some of it you could say is a construct. Some of it you can say that. I'm not gonna lie. I believe in ghosts. I believe in spirits. But am I gullible enough to not question it? No. But to some degree, it is a social construct. But to some degree, I think there is real energy out there, with real entities. Crazy experience. For example, with my grandfather, he was dying of cancer. And I was there on his deathbed at the last minutes. And I was really close to him. We played poker together. I helped him. I even took care of him when he was dying of cancer. And I held on to his hand, and each breath became longer and longer. And then something occurred to me about the breath of life and what that means, or about how breath is connected with life. And the more the more he grasped onto my hand as hard as he could, which wasn't very strong. The cancer weakened him so much. But on his last breath, there was a tear that came from his eye. He fought for every single breath. I wiped it off, and pretty much passed away. And I felt something go by my head. Didn't know what it was at that moment at his last breath. I didn't know what it was, and that's when I couldn't control myself.
You know what it was.
No, tell us.
Yeah, but what I mean is like, it passed by my head. I walked away from there, and the only words that passed by my mind was, "He's gone. He's gone." I didn't know what else to say. After taking care of him and being there for him after all those years. He was just gone, and that's all the only thing that passes through my mind. But on the occasion, he used to have this scented mint spray he used to put on.
Yeah, and you need to smell it every once in a while.
Yeah, sometimes I can smell that. So now let's take someone from a culture who says that human spirits are bad, right? Like maybe somewhere down in Africa, right?
Yeah, you're talking demonology.
They would perceive that as a very negative thing if they were smelling perfume. So I think there's a fine gray area. I personally see spirits as like people, like me or you. Some are assholes, some aren't. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's go between fucking dimensions, whatever like that. Like here we go with Mike. You know, and I'm gonna get all this fucking slack for talking this shit, right? And all these other people listening. Yeah, you experience shit that a lot of other people don't experience, right? And it again crossing dimensions, right?
Yeah, I think other people experience it, but...
May I remind you to watch your language, please, sir?
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, watch your fucking language.
Stop using the fucking F word.
Fuck!
Yeah, that was Melvin Spacely, everyone.
Holy.
Alright, I formed my Trinity, man. Pose myself. Because I'm getting out of hand.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
You guys believe in spirits? I'm curious about that. It doesn't have to be hard or real loose, But have you guys questioned it, or what are your guys' conclusions? I'm curious.
I want to believe in spirits. I want to believe that I go somewhere when I die.
Have you seen any full-blown daytime apparitions that look like real solid people and then just disappeared in front of you? Or what kind of spirits have you seen?
I've seen one at my mom's house way back in the day. I was probably around 12.
Like shadow people, or what kind?
Oh my god, I did see the shadow person once, but there was a woman, the spirit of a woman that was briefly outlined in the front room, looking out the window. It was kind of freaky. I didn't know what it was at first. I went to go back to turn on the lights, and it just sort of disappeared. So I don't know. Whatever it was, I think it was authentic. I mean, one of my friends, though, she was at a graveyard and she saw an outline of a teenager smoking a cigarette in a cemetery once, about 40 minutes down south where I live. But
teenager smoking a cigarette in a cemetery.
Yeah, but then she went to tell her husband, and the teenager wasn't there anymore. Middle of nowhere.
Or she could have just put the cigarette here. She could have put the cigarette out and then vanished.
Whatever the case may be. I mean, but I would say at 3:30 in the morning, that's sort of up in the air.
A teenager out at 3:30 in the morning. It's never been heard of.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm not going to say if it was or wasn't, but it's a pretty interesting experience. There was one experience I had. I don't know if you know where this is at, but Poland, Indiana. There's not that many people out there. And I got done dropping off my cousins at work. And I did have my EMF reader with me at the time. And it was at the Zion Cemetery specifically. And it was during this period that I was reading about a local legend. I take local legends with a grain of salt, because that's why they're called legends. About this man who would warn you not to go on to a part of the cemetery because it's cursed. And I'm like, whatever. There's not that many people out there, mainly old people and people who are just retired. So nobody really gives a fuck about the area. I mean, it's old as balls. I mean, it was founded in the 1830s, 1840s. So
Oh, here we. Oh, it's time. It's time. It's time. Hang on to that story.
Yeah. Hold on.
Oh yeah. This is gonna be cool.
You see ghosts, you talk about aliens, you talk about... Are you shitting me, Wolfman? You literally had ghosts calling on a ghost box. You're going to lose a lot of credibility.
Robert, you're doing real good.
I'm calling you out, my friend. You were scared of the girl from Texas. Well, I sure wouldn't be sitting there admiring the rippling, glistening fucking muscles of the fucking marsupial. You was hairier than this Sasquatch. Oh my goodness. Who in the world are you? All around like the angriest lot. Do your neighbors hear you? You must live in the forest for you to yell that loud. The Monster Castle. Paranormal Radio.
Witnesses have described it as not quite right.
Right. The Wolfpack. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah.
I'm only over here because I heard your sweet fucking voice on the phone.
I gotta hear my song. And I wanted to mention to everybody that the lines are open.
Right.
And we got a caller already, Eric.
Is it commercial or is it live?
No, we're live now. We just got out of the commercial, and I was going to mention to people, you can phone the 775-990-8447, and we have an open line there. Also, the Discord chat room is on the air. If you're in the voice chat room, you are linked to the show.
Where's Willie? I want to get Willie's opinion on all this.
He's in Discord.
Oh, there's a new one.
You get Willie?
Now.
I'm Joey Poop's father.
Yeah, anybody that's in the Spooky Fun House and Discord there.
You knew who his father was.
I'm the son of Poop.
Yeah, I want to get Willie.
Does that make you king shit of Turd Mountain or what?
Well, it
Something
should be
doesn't smell right.
Rachel, don't make me love you.
I love you too.
As long as I can scry into the poop, I'm fine.
That's Joe Poop's father, and I always thinks.
Oh, man. Talk about stink.
Yeah, checking out the chat there.
Yeah. Talking about stink.
Yeah, let me check out.
Hello? Hello.
Here comes the Prince of Darkness.
Yes.
My pet.
Hi.
Hello, my pet. Have you met my pet Igor?
Yes. Who is this guy that is touching and trying to kiss you? I want to bug him.
Have you met Robert?
Hi,
Good
Robert.
night.
How are you doing? Would you like to come and do some evil torture in the dungeon?
If there's sodomy involved.
I hope you brought the
Listen, but
Vaseline.
Igor's open to a little bit of everything last time I heard.
First we chain you up, and then we get the Vaseline.
You're so cute.
Yes. Now, I have a question. What is the scariest thing you have ever encountered?
I think it
Besides
would be...
Debbie's song.
Okay, the scariest thing I've ever seen. It was actually more of when I went to that graveyard. And I went in unprepared. And my EMF reader went off. It got cold out of nowhere in this particular spot. I'm not scared of seeing anything. But I started, it's out in the middle of nowhere. A bunch of retired people. They don't care. But it sounded like two people in the woods, just out of nowhere, and it very, very well could have been. But it didn't make sense with the way my spirit box was going, like skipping through the channels. But there was a saturation. Does that make sense? I've never heard that.
So you have a spirit box. You have one of the
Mm-hmm.
AM/FM spirit boxes.
Yeah. And I've never heard that noise on that spirit box.
Is that something you paid for, or was it given to you?
What's that?
Is that something you went and bought yourself, or was it gifted to you?
It's something I bought myself. Because it's from the reviews I've read, it's one of the best out there. Some people rate it the second best, but it's totally worth the money. And right after my spirit box encounter, and with that, after I heard the static, I turned that shit off. Then I checked the EMF meter just to double check, and it spiked up to 0.240, just out of nowhere. And
that wouldn't be because you have an electrical device sitting next to it, would it be?
Yeah. So so like I said, then I started hearing like some weird, like really weird voices in the woods, really weird voices. And I said, you know what?
I have a question.
Yeah.
You heard voices? Were you alone?
Yeah.
Good question.
Yes, I was alone.
Rachel,
but like I
so
said,
you
I'm
got
an
a
average.
spirit box. Is that what you're saying? Some sort of box?
Yeah,
it's an AM FM station skipper. Like what it does is it'll take the AM FM signals, or let's say I want to stick with the FM. It'll skip through each station, and the spirit manipulates the words. Does that make sense? Through the energy and the static, or whatever you want to call it, and it gives it a voice.
It jumps from station to station until something comes in clear, and that entity is supposed to take the word at that station. Does it control the stations as it jumps, or?
I wrote mine backwards, so yeah, you can control the pace of it, but yeah, you can control the pace of it and how fast it goes.
Rachel, do you got one of these boxes?
I do not. Unfortunately, I'm ones that I am very skeptical of them and do not.
So Rachel, do you read cards
whatsoever?
Rachel, do you read cards?
I have, yes. I have a deck of tarot.
And do you like torturing and sometimes getting whipped?
No.
Do you do pendulum work?
I have no fucking clue what that means. Back to Robert. So, does anybody else have a ghost box?
I've got an app on my phone, but yeah, it's supposed to be quite accurately good and everything, but they all say that. But it did answer me. It freaked me out a few times. I don't know if it's coincidence or not. But yeah, we used it once on the show. It was doing some weird things. It actually did freak me out quite a bit. But
yeah, one of my friends had an experience with one. I forget the name of the app.
Ghost Radar is another one that a lot of people talk about. Ghost Radar being pretty accurate.
What is that? What is that? Wolfman? Is that like a tarot card reading app?
No. It works on all kinds of different things. Like you wouldn't believe what all cell phones can actually sense.
Yeah, no.
They go into the quantum. They can read quantum changes and quantum physics and stuff. These cell phones that we're using were designed for the military like 40 years ago, and that's what they were using. They're like a tricorder, man. Most of the applications of your cell phones are not. We don't use what they can all do. You wouldn't believe what they can all do.
I'm gonna ask you a question, Mike. Which would you rather do? Push a button on an app, and you're playing a game like cribbage or backgammon or something, and you want to throw dice, right? You're gonna hit a button on your cell phone.
Oh, I definitely want to use the real.
Or actually, would you rather be able to feel as though?
No, I'd want hands-on. Definitely want the hands-on with the cards or the dice or the Ouija board or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I like the hands-on too.
Oh yeah.
It just makes sense. Like I said, phones are very sensitive too, so it's easy to sort of, with their sensitivity, to really throw off a phone too.
See, Robert, I freak a lot of people out. I roll dice in the way I throw cards in the way I deal with shit, right? I don't play tricks. You know,
are you good at rolling the same number over and over again?
Pardon me?
Are you pretty good at doing that, like rolling the same number over and over?
I can roll numbers, whatever I want, I can roll them.
Yeah, I've done it too. It freaks people right out. I know.
You should go to Vegas.
I'm cheating.
Yeah, it's harder to do it when you're in around that many people, and that kind of pressure. Like if you're by yourself with a couple friends, you can do it pretty good. But I'd say when you go to Vegas, I don't know if I could do it as good there.
Oh no, they always switch up fucking dealers. And apparently I was cheating. I was card counting, which I did.
Oh, yeah. But I get kicked out of poker, games all the time, and I don't even bother anymore.
Fuck. Dice is fucking easy, man. Right? and try to figure that out. It's the way you throw it, and again, this is an energy manipulation, right? Mm-hmm. And how you put your energy into physical form, right? Mm-hmm. And where you can shift it. And see, again, people don't understand this, and this is where it go earlier, is you got to be really careful about that, right? Because then you start dealing, this is only like innate objects.
This is right up your alley, Adam. Energy manipulation.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like he's using a different kind of usage of the words than Scions do.
Yes, I do believe so. And by the way, you must be back in Discord.
Say it's a little bit different, Adam, in comparison to his experience.
Well, with Scions, the way we use energy manipulation as a type of a term is that we quite literally manipulate our own energies as well as the energies around us, though actually manipulating energies to the point of actually creating a physical substance. Which I think is what he's talking about anyway.
Are you familiar? Did you get your idea or have you read on Charles Casamano?
No.
Okay.
Who? What's the author's name?
Charles Casamano. He's one of the bigger names of radionics and psionics. Yeah, he's been doing it for like 40 years or something.
Yeah, and there's also kind of a thing with like you're radionics and psionics. Well, they're it's another kind of
it's okay, Adam. What are you trying to say?
A new usage get a little back up here. With Scions of today,
what's the basis of Scion anyway? Like what's the root of Scion? Energy. Okay.
Psionics, as defined with the Scion, is basically a set of techniques to learn, develop, and use psychic abilities, and with the radionics and that, it's kind of a lot more of an archaic form that's not really used that much in with Scions.
No, that's interesting. I've heard actually, as you speak, I've heard of this. And as you speak more, it makes more sense. But this is shit that a book on it.
That I have.
For like, I don't know, how long I've known before.
Yeah, like I've always been interested in psionics, radionics. I have a friend, Sam. He's really big into both of them. So I completely understand where you're coming from. I know I've had him as a guest on my old podcast, Magic Occult Radio, a few years back. We did 2 interviews with him, and it was very intriguing. So I know what you're referring to, Adam. That's why I was asking about the methods and where the methods were different.
Yeah.
What's your podcast called that you're doing right now?
Shadows in the Dark.
Cool. I'll have to check it out. I can put it on the feed if you want to throw me some archives. I'll put it on my 24/7 if you want me to.
Yeah. You have my permission.
Cool, man. Where do you have your archives with Spreaker?
No. Actually, I use the bigger services. I use Google. We use YouTube. We're getting ready to convert a lot of that into audio format, though. So people
Wolfman,
because
I've got an emergency. Wolfman, I've got an emergency.
What's going on, Eric?
Your guest, apparently he does have some remote viewing skills. Is that correct on occasion?
Very limited. Very limited.
Well, maybe you can help me out. Okay, I went to the store, smoked a half a joint. It was a big old fat bomber. And now I'm home and I don't know where the fuck it is. So can you remote view it and tell me where the fuck it is so I don't have to go roll another one?
And I think in regular remote viewing, that's a 45-minute process. So.
No, you dropped the red fucking
that. Where's my?
You know, his friend Lauren.
I'll just have to do some telecommunicating.
Pick it up, so he's gone.
You just wave to the lady in the restaurant.
Lord Stephen Christ will tell you where it's at.
No, it's already gone, man. It's already been smoked.
Where frightful experiments are conducted.
Let's give Igor a pat down later and make sure he didn't, get out underneath you.
I think you should give Igor a bath. He stinks.
You need to wash his back. It's dirty.
Yeah, like the whole backside is like thick on there.
But I need help with that. Igor's such a handful.
He only listens to you, though. He calls you, what does he call you? Lady. Lady.
He
doesn't call anyone else lady. Everyone else is like,
It's driving me nuts.
Does Igor like bubble baths?
I don't think he's ever had a bath.
Do you think he's related to Quasimodo?
Yes. He's part troll. We're not talking internet trolls here.
Trolls are amazing.
Well, fuck trolls every day. Fuck. Forget about the internet, man. Trolls are, people that's in the street every day, man. It's like
honestly, trolls are funny. I mean, some people are really creative trolls, and it's hard to get mad at them.
Hilarious. No, I love it when
fuck jokes,
some of my friends do that to me on purpose, and I laugh my ass off. I think it's awesome, man.
Yeah, it's fuck jokes. It's just entertainment. That's all it is, man.
I completely agree.
I see trolls. Pardon me?
I said I completely agree.
He's okay with me.
He's got me turned down, and I can't raise my voice.
And you can't why can't you raise your voice?
Because I live with mommy and daddy. And
so you can do stuff like this. Yeah. Dig it. Rock. Rap. The whip. Yeah.
What?
Rachel's enjoying that.
I am. I love my.
That's just too fun. So anyway, where are we going from here? We got
I was gonna
10 more
ask
minutes.
Robert if he has heard anything or what his beliefs are on Earth being flat.
Oh my god. Yeah, what do you think of that?
I don't think the Earth is flat. I think it's concave. You know, we're just in the middle. Like it's hollow.
Yeah, we're in the middle of it. And when you look at the space, it's just little, probably fruit bats in the middle, flying around some light. It's not stars.
Yeah. Yeah, because Lord Stephen Christ says it's concave. He knows all.
Oh yeah.
But in reality, I don't think the Earth is flat or concave. I just like to say Lord Stephen Christ because he's amazing. But at the end of the day, I know that there's a lot of flat earthers out there now. But I don't know. I don't want to degrade them or anything, but it's like NASA has a live feed of the Earth from outer space that they actually air on YouTube. I don't know if it's airing right now, but they had it airing for a couple days in a row.
Yeah, and if you put it in high speed, you can actually see the fucker turning. And the shadows that are created when it's turning. Yeah. But
NASA has a live feed there of it.
I have an experiment.
Someone commented in there a while back when I looked at it, says this is good graphic effects.
Oh wow. Yeah, well, I got a test for these flat earthers. Let's meet out at a still pond. Like it's got to be at least a mile wide, and really calm day when the water's really still, and let's shine a laser across it and see what the measurements are from where we shine it from one end to the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's supposed to drop 9 inches from the curvature of the Earth in 1 mile.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that should prove it right there, shouldn't it?
It should.
I would say so.
Come up with a day. We'll see if people meet you out there.
Yeah, I got some flat Earth buddies. Let's go out and do it. I'm gonna figure this out, man. I'm gonna prove it.
A flat earther orgy by the lake.
Yeah, and if Igor is coming with me, and you know what? If I prove to them that it's round, they're all getting electrocuted in the water.
Oh yeah, throw them in there.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you'll be cleaning out the gene pool, buddy. That's a circus.
Yeah, that would be awesome, man.
Oh yes.
Get in the water.
That's classic Darwinism.
Well, we even got the dildo out, or the vibrator out.
Yeah.
I swear, I'm going to give Rachel a dildo, and I'm going to write those magical words on it so she can vibrate those names. That is so stuck in my head.
That's not a come on at all.
Who needs to use your voice when you can use radionics, right, Adam?
Pretty much. And I know this from
you guys are trying to make my husband jealous. That's what it is.
He'll think there's construction work going on there with all the noises and vibration.
Oh, I see.
What's going on in there?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you know what they take with them when they go on a sea cruise, eh? Flat earthers? A parachute, in case they fall off the edge.
Oh my god. Or you could be like the Japanese who think that, the Earth is on a giant floating turtle.
But don't go to sleep now. It's...
Oh, here we are. This is break time. I was waiting for this. I need to go get a beverage. All right.
Featuring Wolfman Mike.
Time for a Coke.
Jeff Gray. Adam
We'll
Shadow.
be right back, folks.
It's my boy. The man with 1,000 questions. Now join us as we explore the mysterious nature of our world. Igor, release the monsters from the dungeon. Crack some drinks and let go. Unwind, open your mind, just know.
Psychics, mediums, ghosts, fireballs, lunar anomalies, Sasquatch, UFOs.
It's Monster Castle Paranormal Radio. 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 With Willie in Alaska. Our moral compass, Curtis Green. With Eric the Protector. And hugs from Apocalypse. The Angry Bog. And keeping it real with Stabby McHugs. Crack some drinks and let go. Unwind, open your mind, just know.
Remote viewing, rabbit toys, glowing orbs, lost treasures, Martian artifacts, the chupacabra, Debbie, Daily.
It's Monster Castle Paranormal Radio. It's Monster Castle Paranormal Radio. It's Monster Castle Paranormal Radio. It's Monster Castle, Monster Castle Paranormal Radio Show.
Yeah. Cushion eject. Does your cassette mechanism make a terrible sound like this when you open it? Well, we got something better for you. We got cushion eject today. We could get some funny sounds like that when it pops out. It will be slow and smooth. Cushion eject is the best in ejection mechanisms for any tape cassette. And we can install cushion eject today. Use call KTEL. More cushion for the pushing, baby. Yeah. More cushions for the pushing with cushion eject. All right.
What are you and who are you doing? What are you? Who are you, my dear?
Hello?
I don't know why it's dead
That
air.
wasn't my kind of horror movie.
Yeah. Yeah, that was dead air there when I came back in. I don't know why it's doing that. Oh, I guess because it breaks over.
That would do it.
Get another beer, Mike. I think I need some more.
We started. You guys started talking, and then I just got into it, and then I didn't even notice when it was over. I didn't turn the button back on like I usually do. There you go.
Poorly produced. Poorly produced, Wolfman. Yeah.
That's it. I'm taking you down to Igor. Mike, your punishment is to go see Igor. And bring him up here to ask some questions.
Shit. Yeah, you had to say that.
Damn it. Get ready for the whip.
I was just kidding. I wasn't kidding. Man, why'd you do that? It's funny.
Thanks a lot, Rachel.
You're welcome. I love you.
You know, the next thing that I think we should do is probably have Father Guido baptize you.
No.
Well, my soul needs saved. I'll take a good bath. I'll get baptized. Just make sure there's soap in there.
Oh, yeah. We baptize aliens, actually.
The Pope
we
already
baptize
states about that.
We
The Pope
baptize
talked
the
about
alien.
converting aliens.
I need more whiskey for
What
this
do you?
shit.
Have you ever been abducted? You think, or have you ever seen UFOs?
No, but I have a friend who saw a UFO. But with me personally, no, I wouldn't let any alien touch my butthole anywhere.
Oh, you don't.
Oh,
have a
nobody
choice in that.
said anything about it.
I don't think you have a choice. Attention, everybody.
Yeah,
Rachel needs more whiskey. Rachel,
I mean, why would they need to stick something up my butthole? I mean, forget that.
Why would you assume that that's what they're coming for?
That's like the #1 story: aliens probing people. I mean, I can't name too many abductions that don't require some weird people looking over them and a funny feeling around their butt.
Bend over. This is going to hurt me, then it's going to hurt you.
Today, we're going to give you your prostate exam.
Well, I think one of the funniest things.
You
is,
really think that aliens fly billions of miles across the universe to check out our anus?
Who knows? Maybe they're socialists. You know, they're socialists who want to give, free prostate exams. You don't know.
Well, you know.
How gracious of them.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, it's a free service. I mean, if it's for the betterment of my health, they can abduct me.
Should I be charging for the house?
Oh, yeah.
Wherever you are, whatever you do, have a nice day.
I think aliens are an interesting topic, though. I mean,
Eric
since there's so much conjecture and evidence and even partial evidence around it, who knows? That's one of those things I wish I had an answer for, but I've never been abducted, and I anticipate that I really don't.
Eric, are you there?
Yeah, I had to roll another joint because I couldn't find my joint. That fucking pissed me off.
Didn't John Polk say that getting abducted and coming back with a sore butt was the greatest experience of his life?
Yeah,
did he say that? I didn't hear that part. No.
Yeah, he did. He did say that.
Did he really say that?
I got to make a clip out of that because
Oh my god!
He really
He said that. That kind of
He
freaked
said,
me
"Yeah,
out.
it really hurt and everything, but I gotta say, in all honesty, it was the greatest experience in my life."
And I asked him about
hit that drop. I want to hear it. I didn't hear that.
Your butt hurts.
What sort of tools they used on you up there?
And I'm gonna make a drop out of all the people that told me that they got abducted and they were in their underwear or left naked somewhere.
But why would here's a question: why do they abduct cows? I don't see why they abduct cows.
That was the greatest experience of his life.
I mean, they must be craving some double cheeseburgers or something at abducting cows.
He said
or those prairie oysters. I think it's for the prairie oysters because their balls are always gone missing. It's true. It's true, man.
I mean, let's face it, aliens seem to be into cows and buttholes. I don't know why. But it doesn't sound like a good combination.
Me. Fuck.
That's an alien fetish.
I'm gonna have to disagree on that. I'll agree to disagree, but
It's driving me nuts.
What? Rachel, you told us about
your alien fetish that they would go like millions or billions of light years for. We don't know.
Are you guys getting an echo from me? I'm told that I haven't had an echo.
I don't hear no echo on my end at all.
I don't.
Nor do I.
I'm good.
Okay. I sound right up to the Discord now.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
you sound fine.
Sound good.
Oh, if you're through the Discord, I forgot to put something on. That would probably
Is Willie drunk?
What are your guys' thoughts on aliens? Do you think they exist?
Absolutely.
I think that when you look through a night vision goggle like I tried with Eric's, you see all sorts of weird things, and it's very strange.
I don't think they come.
You see like
40
or 50 times more bright
I've
objects
seen
in
them
the sky.
daytime.
Otherwise, I might be
It's
enticed to
filled.
start
I mean, the
bleaching
sky's
mine.
filled with.
We're all talking at the same time. Hold on.
Yeah, that's a huge overlay.
Rachel, you go first. Rachel, you go first, then Eric, then Wolfman.
Oh, I said if
I don't hear anybody
aliens
else.
are coming from billions of miles just to check out our assholes, I'm gonna have to start bleaching
There's
mine.
nobody else talking,
Those
is
are
there?
some pretty lonely aliens. If that's the case.
I mean, like, where are you
You're
hearing
gonna
this?
start bleaching yours, huh?
Are you?
I'd like to see that.
Well, if they're coming
the
that
hell are you
fucking
hearing? I
far,
don't hear
I'm
nothing.
gonna start
She-
charging for shit, and I'm gonna start bleaching it.
She's got to get.
That's what they're into.
What the hell? Where's that coming
She has to get the weed bags out of there so they don't catch it. You know what I mean?
If you do that, I don't
Oh,
want to see
okay. Okay, I see. I get it.
I think she's trying to give all of us hard-ons.
I get it there.
Really?
I'm glad that was muted to the crowd. I pushed the wrong button.
Rachel, you sound like that one actress. What's her face? She's in The Bride of Chucky. You sound kind of like her. Has the blonde hair in there.
What is her? Oh god, I like her too. Tiffany
you sound
something.
kind of like her.
That really high, obnoxious voice. The one you
You
can't
have like
stand.
that accent. I don't know.
I was always
The
told to have
accent
the
is-
laughter of an accent.
The accent is kind of similar, isn't it?
Yeah, the voice is real similar actually. Not as annoying, but very similar.
Not as annoying. Thanks.
No,
I'll take
it's just
that.
I'm going by.
However small it might be, I'm not too petty to take it.
No, your voice is annoying. I don't have any qualms with her voice really.
Now I had there's a certain button that I mute. I set it up so that when you're in the voice chat, you can't have your own voice come back in there and cause echo. And I forgot to push it on, so that's where you were hearing the echo. It's set.
I'm in Skype now. Radio check.
But yeah, it's just something that I have to get used to. Have to remember to keep doing that. I think I don't know why I took it off. It should have been left on.
It's poorly produced, Wolf.
Yeah.
Have another beer, Mike.
I get better as I drink.
Have any of you had any paranormal experiences?
Oh, jeez, I had tons of them, man.
Jesus.
Yeah,
Wolfman could go on for 5 hours.
No, I want to
Oh
ask
God,
Rachel a
longer than
question.
that. We could probably go on for 3 days.
I heard those sky sounds. You know, those weird scraping sounds coming
trumpets?
from the sky. Yeah, I heard that. I called into Richard C. Hoagland's show the night after it happened. I had a recording of it too. Actually, it's not a very good one though. It just catches the tail end of it. But it's really creepy. But it sounds like a squeaking, grinding sound, but it's musical. Like it has notes, and it sounds like it's meant to. It sounded like it was meant to like be musical, not just like train squealing brakes or nothing like that. Well, it was similar to that actually. I gotta say, if anything, it was.
So it's like a celestial experience.
Yeah, if anything, it may have just been an echoing sound from train brakes squealing, but no, it sounded too musical, and it sounded like it was coming straight up from the sky.
So it wasn't like voices of angels or nothing like that.
I didn't hear no voices, but yeah, other people have. They've heard the same trumpeting, weird music, eerie music, and then they heard the voices singing. Yeah.
Well,
They said because music is so close to mathematics that's a general language between species.
There is no language. Like it's not like a voice. It's not like talking, right? It's different.
So music's
Saying,
never been
don't
used
fucking
as a
mess.
form of vocalization.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying to people all the time. You don't fucking mess with the fucking universe, right? It's gonna give it to you straight up.
Right.
For serious, 100%. And and it's when you want to play with it. Like I used to play with casting spells and shit like that, right? This, this juvenile stuff, and it worked, right? And it's like, whoa, it's like I'm getting into some stuff here. I got to be careful with what I'm doing. It comes to thought, right? Like even thoughts, right? And you got to be careful. Don't understand. I talk to anybody. And they say, oh, yeah, okay, Dennis, whatever. All right, watch what you do in the next 2 weeks. All right? Or the next week or the next 2 days. I pick this up, right, from people. And sure enough, they do their shit. Come back to me and they say, Dennis, what the fuck happened? I said, well, I just mentioned it to you. You did it. Come crying to me. Anyway, sorry, Rachel.
No, I'm curious. I've never heard the term passing spells.
Casting spells?
Oh, casting.
Casting. Right. Yeah, casting. Yeah.
That's what wizards do.
Yeah, I used to do it all the time.
Eric, who is this person you were telling me about before the show?
Oh, shit. I don't remember. What person? So I can't remember anything right now. I smoked 2 joints, then I smoked 2 joints, and then I smoked 2 more.
Did you lose your train?
I keep losing them. I don't think I lost them. I think I smoked them. I keep thinking I lost them.
The wheel's turning because the hamsters passed. Let's move on to the funeral service.
What were we talking about earlier? Try to refresh my memory. I don't remember.
No,
I don't either.
Okay, I'm going to try to get
Can
this
you
back
repeat
on
the question?
There was some woman that you told me that you were trying to get a hold of for tonight.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's gonna be amazing. It's okay. So this. I've been following this lady on Twitter for a while. She's in the UK. She's one of these targeted individuals. They've got. It's such a long story. We can't even. We'll get into it some other time. But the bottom line is, she says it's the CIA. They're using some sort of a technology that they're, kind of a voice to skull, where they shoot these beams in on her, and if she can't sleep. And so I started researching that more. And then there's this guy named David Schurter, who's on YouTube every day. If you just type in David Schurter, he does 2 or 3 YouTube videos a day because they're constantly fucking with him. And then she told me about this guy that wrote a book that was on Coast to Coast. The name slips my memory at the moment, but so I'm going to try to get these guys together so you can do a show with these people that are targeted, they're claiming that the government is zapping them with these invisible energy weapons. It's part of the new way. It's a new age MK Ultra mind control advanced programming is what it is. Does your guest know anything about that mind control stuff?
Yeah, a lot of it started from HARP, and a lot of it started with they tried to do remote viewing again, and they a lot of this, psychedelic fucking drugs they introduced into fucking guinea pigs, if you want to call them that.
I think this goes a bit beyond mind control, though, doesn't it? This is
a little different. One of our guests, Omni Michael, he does parody videos making fun of all this stuff. And Dave Schurter, like I said, he comes out with some interesting stuff. They did a parody because it's funny. He said, the man kind of cracks me up because he got these rocks, he put kerosene on them, then he threw a match on them and they burnt for a long time. So he said that those had chips in them, that he was being watched and he's a targeted individual. I'm like, you put kerosene on it. Of course it's going to burn. So him and my friend got together and they moved a rock and it was plastic and it was hollow. He goes, then Michael or Greg, I'm butchering it, but they said, look at this, it's empty. I'm a targeted individual. I try to understand the logic behind it, but I don't really see it. Does that make sense?
It does, but do you know the history of David Schurter? Do you know why he's even on? I have a really long list of his history. Probably some things that shouldn't be said on air. Well, Wolfman will say anything.
Oh yeah, he's open to everything.
He's not afraid to talk about anything.
Yeah,
because you were talking about you're a fascination. Is that a fair word to use? Fascination for the occult. How would you describe your interest in the occult?
Well, I consider it something that's just sort of there. It's kind of my way of exploring, if you will. Like I said, you can call me a maverick, if you will. I was walking down the road, as an example, I was walking down the road the other day, had my friends on the phone. Then I heard a gunshot like 2 blocks ahead of me. So instead of turning the other way, my natural reaction was, hey, I wonder what's going on. I'm going to walk in that direction. And luckily, the guy already ran off. But that's the thing, is I'm not afraid. Whatever these people consider dark, or whatever this, I don't have that dichotomy of good, bad, light, dark. Do you know what I mean? And when I break free from that dichotomy, when I break free from that paradigm and ideology, I start to find sometimes physical things, even if skeptics would consider them questionable, that's fine. But I also learned a little bit more something about myself. I mean, there's a lot of people I know that work 9-to-5 jobs, they take care of the kids, and they really don't do much outside of that. And so a lot of those individuals come to me. Don't get me wrong, they love their life, but some of them, a lot of people have regrets about that. There's really self-growth happens at the strangest times in those lives. And I guess to some degree, I'm lucky in this regard, because I'm always and constantly questioning myself, questioning the world, questioning people, and I'm always reaching these new revelations, and my mind is always busy. So, if anything, I find the occult mentally stimulating.
Are you always in doubt? Like when you're always questioning people? Right?
Do I doubt things?
Judgment? Yeah, like you're in judgment of others?
Well, like I said, doubt, I wouldn't say
judgment.
I necessarily go in like a skeptic, just doubting. But what I do is I try to go in with a blank slate. Like imagine you're walking into a scenario, you don't know what's going on, so you try to figure out the scenario all the time. So like I said, just because we have one experience, it doesn't define other experiences. But what are the commonalities? So you have to treat, like Aristotle told Alexander the Great, every situation is different, which made Alexander the Great, even no matter how similar a battle sounded, but number-wise, the strategies had to change. So when I go in there, I go in there questioning more than doubting. I don't say yay or nay. It's just adaptation and looking at the situation and what's going on in the environment. Does that make sense?
Right. So it's not so much that you're judging a situation, is that you're discerning, observing actions, and how others react to your actions.
Yeah, cause and effect.
It's not so much a judgment. Man.
Yeah.
Okay, I got a question for you, brother.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking about the cult, and then I was the one that asked the question earlier about Satan and Lucifer. So, so what is motivating these people who appear to be mostly in elite positions, not all of them, that are obviously getting caught or getting tattled on about murdering babies and having sex with children and things like that, and Pizzagate, and how that all ties in with the occult and black magic? I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
I don't think there's any association. I just think people are going to be people, really. I mean, yeah, you may have these fraternities where guys get together, who are upper class, but it doesn't mean that there is some grand conspiracy. It just means rich people like to hang out with rich people. People have a tendency to gravitate towards other people that have similar interests or commonalities to them, or hobbies, or lifestyle. I just think people.
So you think child sex and child murder is just a hobby for rich people, or what are you saying?
Like I said, I mean, that, like I said, the child sex and all that depends on this. I don't know what. Do you have any specific scenarios you're referring to?
Oh man.
Well, we won't go into all that.
I just
what about human sacrifice?
Well, like I said, because I need some specific examples to know the context of it.
Human sacrifice?
Oh, a lot of that's propaganda. I mean, the thing is, with all of this, this is what happened in the satanic panic, I think. The child sacrifice and all that, a lot of this is just propaganda. And the FBI have investigated all these satanic panic claims, and not one of them is held up. So the thing is,
they cover it up. That's
like
all.
I said,
What about?
All I'm saying is this: I would need some definitive evidence or some context, or some cases, some trials, not just hearsay, or not just what someone said or what a conspiracy theorist said. I would need some sort of something solid. Do you know what I mean? To make any.
Yeah. What about circumstantial evidence? Like, that General Aquino, he's a known Satanist, and he was tied in with the whole satanic panic era. I mean, if you do the research and you really dig and you really, really read all the information, I think that you might change your views on some of this stuff. But I hear what you're saying. You want hard evidence. I get, but the Satanists, they don't provide hard evidence.
I just don't want conjecture. Because the FBI came back and nothing came back as positive on any of this. Like there was actual claims coming out.
Mike, this is serious. Mike, this is serious.
No, it's not.
It is.
See, actually, a lot of things. What happened was there's been evidence to show in a lot of these cases, especially in satanic rituals and stuff at the time, that a lot of it was just simple hypnosis, which I found interesting, because with the way hypnosis works, this was the perfect time for hypnosis. What you do is you set in all these data units to override the mind to where your critical area becomes less effective.
All old school. That's all old school, right? Mike wants to play a song. And
No, I don't actually. That was just to remind me there's 5 minutes left. I want to ask a question. And this is from the chat room. This is a really good one. Okay, this is from Stabby McHugs. What defines the parameters of paranormal without giving an example?
Maybe something that's not so normal. Something that can be interpreted. I hate to use this word, supernatural, although I think that's a horrible word. Something that's outside of.
I love that word.
I just tell Stabby, Mike. I'll send it to him telekinetically. Okay. He'll receive it in his dream tonight.
Yeah. I think supernatural. Supernatural is when you're naked and running through the woods, and you're trying to get abducted, by UFOs, and you're in your underwear. Yeah.
It's supernatural if John Holmes does it.
Supernatural. Yeah. Supernatural if you're jacked up, running around naked.
Supernaturally sexy.
Supernatural is when you jerk off and a ghost comes out of your shit.
I'll beat your ass.
All right, gentlemen.
Yeah, but the paranormals of supernatural, like I said, it's anything that can be, I think, more genre related to the mind, telekinesis, ghosts, spirits. Or one can even conflate that to a religious experience, UFOs, things like that. I mean, although I'm sure that there's X, Y, and Z that can be, included in on that. These just seem to be the more common ones.
Natural, paranormal, metaphysical, all of that stuff. Add it all up. But it's all good that way. But yeah, please meet me, sir.
Yeah, thanks a lot for coming on the show.
Thank you, Mr. Powell.
Visit our website, follow us on the links.
Appreciate it. Anytime you want to come back.
Visit Spreaker.com, follow Wolfman Mike.
I actually liked it here, and I appreciate it. Like I said,
pretty cool.
All right.
Want to give a quick shout out to your show one more time before we go?
I'll hit up again.
Go to Spreaker.com. Or use the TuneIn Radio app and just search for Monster Castle Paranormal to listen to the live feed 24/7. And go to monstercastleparanormal.com. Donate today. Keep us rocking, man. Music by Shylock and Relic, Adam Shadow, and the Monster Rock Band. All material on the show cannot be distributed and sold without written permission from Igor. All right. Dirty Rotten Taro coming up next, I think. Everybody wants to do it. They're going to pull me into it even though I don't want to tonight. But I will.
Bye.
Thanks, Tiger.
Yeah, thanks, Tiger.
I enjoyed it so much.
Thanks, Howard.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry if it took me a little while to warm up. It should.
That's all right.
With all the music and all that, it's just getting used to it.
Sure.
You did great. It was fantastic.
Thank you so much.
I let it in there so you can hear it. Otherwise, you don't know what's going on. But I don't have to. I can have it off, and you don't even hear it like that.
When you do that,
But
I think it's awesome. Actually, it's a new experience.
Yeah. You don't have to listen to all that.
I don't mind. It's fascinating.
Monster Castle Paranormal.